And we are live here on Facebook and YouTube. And welcome to another edition of the Indigo Inspire Live, the collab here in social media world. And riding shotgun in the buggy is the one and only Sherwin from Gospel Music Buzz. Sherwin, what's up, dude? What's up?
What? I'm good. I'm good. Listen, man, today was one of those days, man. That heat, 108 degrees, like it felt like it just sucked the life out of you. I mean, it was just, it was hot. It was hot today.
Listen, I put in on my Facebook personal page, I said, look, only thing is missing is brimstone. So today, all was missing was brimstone today.
That's the facts, man. It was something else today. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay indoors. Like, make sure the AC doesn't break. Make
Yeah,
sure no one trips anything. It was one of those days like you just want to just stay indoor and stay still, as still as possible.
absolutely, absolutely. So we are here live in our virtual studios, coming live from New York and coming live just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we are glad that you are here to join us. So as you are coming in, make sure you share this live. And if you're on YouTube, welcome to our YouTube channel as well. So we've got a couple things. I mean, a lot has happened musically this past week in terms of releases. We got some major releases from beloved artists. Who do we have? Who do we have, Jerry?
Yeah, so we got a few. So I know right now, I know Tamala Mann released her project, Overcomer. So she released that. Jason Nelson released his project as well, Close. And of course, one of your favorites, Dawkins and Dawkins, Never Get Old. That's also
Yeah,
out there in the ether that got released as well. I
yeah.
believe Dante Bowie, he also released something too. Then Travis Green.
Oh, Travis Green, and he's going to be a live. He's going to do his as a live recording on, I believe, August the 20th.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it in North Carolina?
Not 100% sure. Not
Okay.
100% sure in terms of the location, but I know also too. Pastor Mike too. He has the single "Amazing" Pastor
Hmm.
Mike Jr. and which was amazing. It was fitting song, right? Because coming off of his two Stellar Award wins, right? Like
Yeah.
that was so great because I remember he told a story. I think it was about maybe 2 or 3 years back. He was saying he went to the Stellar Awards. He saw someone that won that year, and he was like, he's sold into that person, and he said, he's believing that next year was going to be his year, something
Yeah.
to that effect. And then it ended up happening, and now it's like he won two. He won in two big categories as well. You
Yeah.
saw it from the video footage when he came back home. They were waiting for him at the airport.
Hmm.
Videos, just like the,
Yeah.
the whole city basically came out in support. So that was amazing to see that.
And his performance on the Stellars was absolutely just moving. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, yes,
I was a little mad that I couldn't be in the building, but of course, trying to be safe, that kind of thing. So I didn't want to take that
safe, safe.
chance. But absolutely, and I know being inside that location, the atmosphere was just like shifted when he came on. So I'm really
Hmm.
looking forward to when things open up and have a chance to see him live. Would be absolutely amazing. And as
Yeah.
you mentioned, Tamala Mann, come on, that's a given.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You gotta love, Tamala Man. You love, just overall from the cover art. She was dropping other things in
Yes,
between and all of that. And even,
yeah,
just it's great. You can't go wrong with some solid worship music, right?
yeah. And speaking of solid worship music, Jason Nelson. Oh my goodness, that new project is
Close, yeah.
it he it's oil all over that. It really is. It's oil all over that. And right now, my favorite cut off of that album is "Breathe."
Yes,
And
we were,
that,
we were talking about that one the other day. Yeah,
yeah, breathe just takes you right in. So wherever you are, if you're at home or work, whatever, and you're either streaming it, but we actually obviously encourage you to download and purchase
yeah, yeah.
and support
Purchase
our
it.
artists.
You do.
That one, if you need that time of meditation, that is the song definitely for that. The entire project, but breathe will like take you in right away, for
Mhm.
sure, for sure, for sure. So tonight we're going to have we're going to be talking with Terri Cann in a little bit when she arrives here in the studio. So, and she's got a remix of a song she did a couple years ago called "Dance," but this time it's featuring the Truth on there.
Yeah, and you just recently had the Truth on your event that you held, right? So
Yes, yes.
What was that event called that you
Oh,
held?
the Power Virtual Music Conference. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And I was on that session with the Truth, and he was.
So you were on that night.
Yeah. I was
Okay,
I was on the night when he was there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was awesome. So then to kind of see, that's why I'm interested to find out from her, even with the collaboration and how all that even pulled together. Because when you're thinking, the Truth, I'm thinking, CHH, I'm thinking other stuff, but the kind of collab with that. So I know there's a lot, to unpack there. So I can't wait to get into a bit more of that with her as well too.
Oh yeah, and he really actually set the foundation for the conference, and so we were really happy about the fact that every single nuance of that and every speaker that spoke and poured into our independent artists, and no matter where you were in the industry, producers, radio, whatever, you got a word from him and some encouragement from everybody. So we're excited about that, and also for June of 2022, also will be the Power Up Virtual Music Conference. So, and I know Sharon will be in the building. He doesn't come.
Yes.
We're going to drag him. We're going to drag him.
I will be there. And I wouldn't be coming kicking and screaming. I'll be happy to come.
For sure. And of course, we closed out for those who couldn't see it because it was just for the conference. Lecrae. Okay.
Yes. That was, because I was on that as well too. I remember I had to dip out. I think I had to go to the store and grab something with my wife. But while we were going, I'm like walking around Target and I'm like turning up the music on my phone. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just enjoying this right now." I was that guy walking down the aisle in Target with my phone blasted, just straight rocking out to Lecrae. So
So that was definitely awesome. So we're excited about that, and we'll talk more about that later in the fall about where you'll be able to register for next year's conference and the whole 9 yards, different pieces. So Sharon, in your world, we have a couple of things that are happening as far as gospel music buzz. So what new artists are coming in through your desk right now do you want to highlight?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been working with a lot of, really great, interesting artists. I know we were doing a collaboration with an artist that's based not too far, I believe, out in your area. So Vanessa Howard, she just released her single as well. She's also, one of the co-hosts on the radio station, Transformation Radio as well in your area. So she released that single, a really powerful single. So we've been working with her, pushing that single. We have another artist we're working with as well who released an EP earlier on in the year, Ashley Renee. I know we're going to be talking to her at some point down the line as well too. So I mean, we've been really fortunate and to collaborate with some really great artists, not necessarily only mainstream, but also some amazing independent artists to push what they're doing. And we're always grateful for every opportunity to collaborate and work.
Absolutely. Coming up also in October are the Dove Awards.
Yeah. I've been seeing some nomination trickling out. I know Doe who signed to Life Room Records, Jonathan's label. I know she also had nomination as well. I saw a lot more nominations, from the Ty Scott crew as well. A bunch of them got nominated. So I'm seeing a whole bunch. Every day you're seeing more and more nominations trickling out, which is great, and a lot of solid categories as well, and more individuals are getting nominated there. And even speaking of Jonathan, I know we were talking before the show that Jonathan and Molly is also going to tour. I know I already got my tickets for the New York stop. We were talking, you were also looking at the stop for Philadelphia. Exactly, for that area as well. So that should be pretty awesome because while I've seen Jonathan in concert, I've never seen Molly in concert by himself or the two of them together. So that's, I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've gotten out and, went to an actual concert after being at home all the time and just looking on your screen. It's like, okay, it's time to get in the crowd. Masks and all, whatever, but it's time to get in the crowd.
I don't even care. Look, I'll suit up at this point. I'll put a hazmat on. I'm sick of this. I'm really sick of this.
I would be in there in my bubble, just knocking bubble to bubble.
Absolutely. And that's funny because I've seen the opposite. I haven't seen Jonathan in person, but Molly, obviously I've had on in concert as well as also seen him, at different shows. So that's
Okay.
interesting. So, but like you said, seeing them together, they bring something unique to the table from both the, areas. And that's really that's going to be an awesome show. So we know that. We know that right now.
For sure. Looking forward to that for sure.
Yes. So tonight, as we talked about the fact that we have Terri Cann in the building, and we're going to be bringing her up right now to the virtual stage right here on Indigo Inspire Live, the collab, the one and only. Hey, let's add her to this situation.
Hey, Terri, what's up? What's up?
My laundry still hanging in the back. Lord Jesus, hi.
How are ya?
I am wonderful. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. We're good. Just catching up on industry things and things that are going on, popping. But what we want to talk about tonight is your night, focusing on this amazing. It's not a new song, but it's actually been made new again.
Right, remix.
The remix of Dance, and you got that collaboration with the T.R.U.T.H on there.
Yes,
So we're going to talk about that a little bit and play a little snippet, and also a couple of songs you've done within the past couple of years. We're going to, give the people a little snippet of some of your previous projects as well before we get to the single. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn everything over to Sharon right now. He's going to jump on with our first question. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
All right, let's go. Terri Cann, welcome.
Hello, Gospel Music Buzz. Sharon Hall in the building.
Williams, no. It's all good. It's all good.
It's been a long day. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So, speaking of, so while we were going through and we were looking at all of this, there's one thing that was evident here is that you do a lot. So, from
statement.
you wear a lot of hats, right? You should probably just keep a hat stand behind you because every second you're flipping, right? So from the see there we go, right?
Yeah.
So from the clothing line to the youth organization to actress, the host. So we'll have to pick apart each and every single one of them. But the first question there is kind of, what keeps you going? Because there's a whole lot here that you're doing on a day-to-day. So what kind of fueled all of that?
My purpose. That's in 2 words. I understand my purpose. Since the age of 16, God told me my mandate was to spread the word of God through the arts. So no matter what I had to do to accomplish that, there's a saying that purpose is your alarm clock. Purpose has been sustaining me no matter how hard it gets. I do wear a lot of hats. I am tired all the time. However, I'm fulfilled because I know that I am walking in my purpose.
Absolutely. And on top of all the things you do creatively in your personal life, married, a child now. And so
two children.
Two of them. And listen, we're not going to minus one. You got 2 of them. And the fact that and just balancing the creative aspect, because we know as creatives, all of us, that the energy that's drawn just to put it in what we're doing every day we can go in and get lost in what we're doing every day because we love what we're doing.
Yeah.
But then that balance of family, we're all married, we're all, with children, and making sure that home is stable and they will get lost in purpose. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, since the age of 16, I've been pursuing this. I got after getting married in 2013. My husband is also creative, and we said, let's trudge this thing out for 2 years. I was a full-time teacher. I was ready to quit my job, and then 4 months after the wedding, 4 months, there was a surprise baby number 1.
Okay, all right, okay, that's how that happens.
That's how that happens. Surprise, right? So 4 months after, so I went right into motherhood a lot earlier than expected. And after I debirthed, yes, I made that word up. I was like, okay, let's do this again. I spent a year working on a web series, a First Lady web series with my husband.
Yes.
And just when I was about to have a meeting with a producer for my album, it was like, ooh, surprise baby number 2. So needless to say,
It's a happy home.
it is a very happy home. We bless God.
Yeah.
So needless to say, like I still try to do it, right? Because at that time, Mary, they had their reality show and they were like pregnant and sick. I was like, if they could do it, I could do it. I could not. I had a very trying pregnancy. So long story short, I ended up taking a 5-year hiatus from music. And in that time, it was hard. It was hard, but I realized that my role had to change, and in that 5 years, I learned to, I kind of strategized how I was going to balance things. Obviously my schedule had changed. I can't just get up and go to the studio at any time or spend long amount of hours. So my schedule became make sure they're good during the day, plan my studio sessions for late at night after everyone's fed and put to bed. Now I'm leaving home to go to the studio. So, it was just an adjustment. But being a mom is a beautiful thing. As my daughter's making so much noise right now. Shh. Thank you.
Real life, everybody. Real life.
It's a beautiful thing. You just have to learn to adjust. And I always encourage women that because you have children, it doesn't mean that you have to stop. Or, a lot of women tend to like give up their goals and their dreams because they feel they have to, spend all of their time or all of their attention on their children. And of course, I make sure my children are not neglected. But I feel like if I am not the best me, I can't be a good mother. And being the best me means fulfilling my purpose. It always goes back to that. So I just find a way to balance it all out to the best of my ability. I'm still learning.
Absolutely. And they're seeing your ethic and your integrity in terms of what you're doing. So they're gleaning from you even as early in their ages. So
correct.
It's all going to work out. It all's going to work out.
Thank you.
Indeed. And even with just to touch on that briefly, because you mentioned the web series. What was the web series called, and what was the web series about?
So the web series was entitled The First Lady web series, and it was just telling the truth about the first family and the pressure that usually lies with the first lady. Being from a first family, my parents were pastors all my life. I know the behind the scenes, right? So I kind of wanted to break the stereotype that it's just like this glitz and glam and first ladies, they just put on these big hats and they get served. No, it's real work. So that was the First Lady web series. It's still available on YouTube. And I smile a lot because I really miss it. But I'm like, I'm going to focus on the music right now. Don't go back to that, Terry. But we're still trying to like pitch it to networks. And I have more Christian film that I have sitting in my laptop, just praying on an investor with.
So there we go. So then basically by the end of this, those investors are going to be reaching out, and then
are y'all listening, investors? Come on.
Anything can happen, right?
Come on, in Jesus' name.
Come on, let the phone ring. Let the email be sent.
Come on, Terri Cann music at gmail.com. Okay.
and even so, there's the web series that I mentioned before, the clothing line. So which kind of came before what? So there's the clothing line came before the web series. So which is what?
The clothing line came first.
Okay.
The clothing line came in 2012 when I went to Ghana, that's where my late father is originated from Ghana. And we went in 2013 for his 1-year memorial, as it is tradition to go back to Africa. The person from there passes, you go back and there's memorial service there. So when we went to this place called Makala Village, which is like an outside shopping area. And there was fabric from ceiling to floor everywhere. And I just immediately fell in love with African print. And I started like designing stuff in my head. By the time I got back to New York, I had stuff sketched out. And they're became royalty wear. And what was so interesting to me is to find out that a lot of people love Prince. But I found out that there actually is a meaning behind every print.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are meanings behind every print. And way back in the day, it was actually only royalty that wore certain types of prints. So hence the name royalty wear.
Mhm.
So I just got into like the background behind it. And besides falling in love with the prints, and I've always been into fashion. So that's where royalty wear erupted from. Ghana.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome. Now, when, as far as the music is concerned, when did you really decide, you know what, I'm really going to just immerse myself into this while still keeping royalty wear going? And, you're deciding, you know what, I'm going to go in the studio, I'm going to make, write this first song, get this thing, make this thing happen.
Yeah.
At what point did you make that decision?
To do both, you're saying, the music and the fashion?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was also in 2013 because I had just released an EP entitled Higher.
Mhm.
But in 2013, I also still didn't have children.
Mhm.
So it was easy then.
Mhm.
But after coming back from my hiatus, I decided to just press pause on royalty wear in terms of designing for other people. So right now, I just design for myself. So anything you'll see in a music video, like this
Mhm.
dress is from the Little Drummer Boy music video, I have designed
Mhm.
myself. That's from my clothing line.
Well, I mean, but also you immerse yourself into acting as well. And when I'm looking at your bio, I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, from Broadway to off Broadway.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, so that in and of itself is not just an adrenaline rush, but a commitment to being part of shows and, midday shows, evening shows,
yeah,
just all that sort of stuff. And you're still doing royalty wear.
yeah,
You got music, and now you got Broadway.
yeah.
And now, and when did you decide, you know what, I'm really going to now immerse myself in that and still keep up the standard of the other two
Mhm.
things?
So that the acting actually came first. People don't know that I was an actress first.
Okay.
Like when I got that
Oh,
call at
okay.
16, the
Mhm.
first thing I did was audition for my first gospel play. So from 16 to 20 something, we're not going to, keep calling out ages here. But let's try.
Yeah.
Add the one minus
Yeah.
the three.
Don't start calculating stuff.
Basically, she's 32, but go ahead.
That I'll take it. So for a number of years I was strictly in acting and I didn't really love to sing. I just used it to my advantage to audition for gospel plays because gospel plays you have to sing the dramatic gospel songs. But my first love is actually acting. So I did a lot of theater, Dream Girls, and a lot of gospel plays, and then eventually TV and film. It wasn't until I was 19 and I was offered a record deal by an independent company at that time. That's when I was like, well, maybe I should take the singing thing a little seriously.
Mhm.
But acting is actually my first love.
But
Awesome.
how would you, I guess one of the questions I always love to ask when it comes to that is that, what would you think, do you think like whatever you learned from acting and so forth, you were able to carry a lot of that with you
Mhm.
into the singing, into the performance, into all of that? And if you were to choose to say, okay, going forward, I
Mhm.
want to do a little bit more of one versus the other, would you say it would still be acting, or given, everything you started to love with music now, would you still want to split it down the middle?
Sherry, you asked some really tough questions. What would I choose now? That's hard. I won't be able to choose. I would want to conquer both simultaneously.
And which is what I
Mhm.
expect you would
Yeah,
have said, because it's one of those things. I always believe that someone can be multifaceted in
Yeah.
every sense of the word, right?
Yes.
Like, we don't just have to put someone in one little box to say, okay, you're just doing this or you're
Mhm.
just doing that. Like,
Mhm. Correct.
you have a love,
Right.
you have a passion for something, you should just pursue it.
I agree.
Take it wherever it goes. If it just means you've acted in one play, then at least you fulfill some of that desire to say, hey, I've acted in a
Got it.
play. No, I'm going to pursue this next thing, or whatever the
Mhm.
case is,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just keep kind of going from there. But there's one thing that was discussed Oh, and I'm not sure if you caught any of the last show what we did last week with Lucinda Moore, and we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about pivoting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
with the pandemic and with everything that happened with the pandemic, a lot of people were forced to pivot. So I know
Oh yes.
you were doing a lot in schools and so forth with artist empowerment group. So
Mm-hmm.
touch a little bit about that and talk in terms of how did you now had to do that shift and that pivot to yet again something else which you kind of started doing that. So kind of lead us in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this answer as short as I possibly can, right? So back in 2000, for this 2017-2018 school year, I decided to quit my job as a full-time New York City State music teacher because it just all became too much. But with still needing capital, obviously, to fund my ministry, I started the Arts Empowerment Group. So I'm a DOE vendor, meaning we go into schools that lack arts programming and we provide that for them, right? So that allowed me more freedom over my schedule while still making money.
Mm-hmm.
So right before the pandemic hit, obviously I was in the school system. And who would have ever thought that there would be something that will come along and
Mm-hmm.
shut schools down?
Mm-hmm.
like
The world down, the whole world down.
the two things that was making me money because I was on the local city church tour. So I was going different churches every Sunday, right? And getting paid and going to work at schools. The two things, church and school, shut down the world. So I said, Lord, what am I ever going to do? And that is when I tapped into I have a degree in communications. And that's where Music Mondays with Terri Cann came. The week after COVID shut down, the idea for Music Mondays with Terri Cann came because what the local city church tour was doing was getting me that buzz, the bee in the buzz, at least. I was really like in a good place with that.
Yeah.
So I knew that how could I maintain that, and still grow my fan base. So that's where Music Mondays with Terri Cann came up. And I think people thought, oh, what else is Terri doing now? But I'm like, no, I actually have a degree in this. Like I did journalism in school. I do PR and advertising. So it was just a matter of maneuvering with God asked Moses, what's in your hand?
Yeah.
What's in your head? Right? I was like, okay, so we're gonna do this IG live show. And I cannot believe the response has been amazing. Like it's been blowing my mind how successful the show has been just from the audience, the fan base that I've been able to garner from there, and the relationships. Relationships in this industry is so important. So the relationships that I've been able to build with artists, and while learning, like every week when I interview an artist, it's like I'm in school taking notes.
Yes.
Because you're talking to established artists about their journey. So I tell people, I'm like, I know you guys are enjoying the show, but this is really for me. Like I am getting so much from talking to this artist. So that was my pivot. That was my pivot, becoming a host.
and even with that too, I think, and a lot of times too, we can be afraid, and that's what we were talking about. You can't be afraid when that opportunity, when you hit that fork in the road, just kind of count it a blessing.
Yeah.
You might not see it at the time, but just make a decision. Yes,
And move with
briefly, yes, all of that, but sometimes we get stuck in that undecisive space where we just can't make a decision. But that doesn't mean you're not standing at the fork.
Correct.
Either you make the decision, you try to kick the can down the road, but then it's going to delay what that next thing is that you have to do. So being able to make that decision and then pivot something. I said, no, you basically build a whole community behind that. Because a lot of times, when I'm able to pop on, if we're not doing something and I hop on, it's like people in the comments talking to each other in the comments about something that happened on the last show in the comments. So I'm always amazed, like, because I'm big on community, and I'm always amazed to see everyone else just coming back, like, hey, I remember this.
Me
and that,
too.
and it's like rehashing. It's like everyone is family.
Yeah.
That's showing up and doing that. So kudos to you on building that, but also to providing an outlet, because I know for sure during that time of the pandemic, is artists, established A-listers. I mean, everyone, no one was going anywhere.
Not a nowhere.
New ways of engaging with their
And
audience
connecting with your
and
fans. Yeah.
connecting.
Hmm.
Exactly. So if they're not going out to concerts, they're not doing all of that.
Right.
Platforms such as yours, what you were providing, what everyone else is doing in that space,
Hmm. Hmm.
were highly coveted after because they were giving others an opportunity to share, to tell their story, to talk
Right.
about what's going on,
Hmm.
share tips on how they're dealing with things and so forth. So, I think
Yes.
that was great in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then, that also kind of took me back a little bit to, and I know it was asked briefly by, one of my co-hosts on, on Gospel Music was when you went live, asked the question, until the whole world knows, what does that
Yes.
really mean? I know that's a
Yes.
song that we're gonna play a little bit of it as well,
Okay.
but just before we do, you've also been using that statement and that phrasing a lot. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of like took on a whole new meaning for you. So, what does that meaning means for you? Right after that, we're gonna play it, but what does that meaning meant for you?
Yeah, I believe everyone has different callings when it comes to their ministry. God is a very specific God, and I believe that for me, I have been called to the world. I have been called to be an international praise and worship leader, an international gospel. So actually, in 2019, I did a press tour in Ghana, and the plan was right before COVID came to like really branch out internationally. I believe I've been called to the waters internationally. But the beautiful thing about uh, the world in which we live in is that there's technology, right? So I was still able to reach across the seas. Some of my guests, I interviewed Akasi Brimpong, which is one of Ghana's leading artists. I interviewed Emmanuel Smith. He was in London. Neela is in London. So I was still able to reach across the waters, although virtually. But I believe that I've been uh, called to an international ministry. And I don't believe that's for everybody. Everybody can't handle it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody may not want it. But I do. I do. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
until the whole world knows that Jesus Christ is Lord, that's when I'll stop.
Okay. And right now, we're going to play a little snippet of the song.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Until the
All
whole
right.
world knows. Birds in the air, the fish in the sea, the heavens declare your holy name. Creation bow down at the sound of your name. The heavens declare your holy name. Oh, I worship you, and until the whole world knows that you are God. Oh, I worship you, and until the whole world knows that you are God. Birds in the air, fish in the sea, the heavens declare your home. Creation bow down, the sound of heavens declare your holy name. Sing, oh, I worship you. Say, oh, I worship you, yeah. Till the whole world knows you, God. I will worship you. I will. And we want to make sure that you download this beautiful song from Terri Cann until the whole world knows on all digital outlets. And we'll be right back. Guess what? After a couple of messages, we'll let you know what's going on in our industry, in our world. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. That is right. On September 23rd, we have the beautiful Deborah Carolina, who will be having her pre-show live recording event here on September 23rd, and her live recording will be taking place in New Jersey on September 25th. So you will want to be here in the virtual room, the virtual building for that event. And so we're going to have some guest surprises. She has signed with so many of the industry's top A-listers, and for now, for her to be coming out with her first live recording is really major. So make sure you mark that on your calendars, as well as follow us on social media. You can find Indigo Inspire Live on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as Gospel Music Buds on all those platforms as well. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And we're back with Terri Cann, the international global sensation, who really has a bag filled with gifts. And as you were talking and Cheryl was asking some questions, and the first thing came to mind, and you actually brought it up in terms of referring to Moses. And so in my personal devotion right now, going through the book of Exodus, and one of the things that I found that was absolutely amazing is when the children of Israel were delivered from Egyptians, and they were about to, Moses was given the instruction about the building of the tabernacle. Mm-hmm. But there were specific individuals that were called and God had chosen in order for them to do that intricate work.
Come on.
And it says in Exodus that he downloaded to Bezalel and two others the abilities to do fine iron work, to do intricate stitching, to do all kind of craftsman work. So it wasn't just one gift, two, they were given a multiplicity of gifts, right? And they did all those gifts in excellence to the Lord. So when I think about you and all the things that you are endowed with, then the only thing that can come out of that is excellence.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes.
So I'm really, really so happy for you and everything you're doing just in your life right now. So I'm going to turn it over to Sharon right now.
All right, we are back once again from the commercial break. So one thing, as we were going through that, one thing I thought was really interesting, and again, if all of that you touched just on, that's a really good point you just made, Patrice, when you were talking about that, because that's, I think a lot of that get lost in that scripture once you go back and you pull that apart. But it seems like outside of everything else that Terry's doing, you're also doing this morning prayer, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, first of all, that's so early, right? So it's like, if you're in the West Coast, it's like 4 a.m. Tell us about it. At 4 a.m., I love the Lord, but at 4 a.m., I'm going to be real with you.
Don't say but. Come on.
I don't know if I got what it takes to roll out of bed at 4 a.m. Saints, don't come for me. Don't come for me, Saints. I'm just saying, so talk to us about that. What kind of birthed that in your heart, and to want to start that in the midst of everything else that you're doing right now? What days is that? Yeah. How can people tap into that, for the 4 a.m. prayers in the midst, God bless you. So talk to us about that.
He's not a morning person.
Dramatic. Listen, it is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we come together on Clubhouse. It's a room entitled the Flow Room. And it's specifically for praise and worship leaders. And it's just a morning worship. And it's specifically for us because oftentimes we are the ones constantly pouring out. So it's just our opportunity to glean from the Holy Spirit and to encourage each other and to learn from each other. I'm a big worshiper. Oftentimes when you hear my roster of music, people were like, "Oh, if you want to dance, go download Terri Cann's music. You know, it's Afrobeat." But I am a psalmist. I am a psalmist, and I think I'm going to shock people with my forthcoming praise and worship album, because it's going to have a lot of praise and worship. So one of the things was just starting to build on that, to say I'm more than just this Afrobeat gospel pop singer, but I am a praise and worship leader. I am a psalmist, and I'm very serious about praise and worship. So I've even gone and facilitated praise and worship workshops with praise teams, you know, because it's something that I study. You know, how should a praise team flow? We study David, who was the greatest praise and worship leader. So it's a subject that I'm really passionate about. And also on the back end, just knowing how draining it could be, we started the Flow Room every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Clubhouse.
7 a.m. I guess
You don't turn the people off before they even heard what it is. They heard 4 a.m.
I was talking about my West Coast people.
I know.
7 a.m. That's good time.
My question is, what time is it in Ghana at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time?
It is 12. It's midday. It's 12 p.m.
So listen, she's getting 2 for 1. She's getting the early morning, and then she's also getting the midday prayer.
Prayer. Come on.
Oh, Sherwood, okay. Feel it. Feel the anointing.
Sherwood, feel it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm outnumbered here. I'm just gonna say yes. So going forward, I'm just gonna say yes.
That's so funny. Yes. Very smart man. No.
So now you're also, you know, a theme, and you know, you're always, the one thing I like about when you're doing something, right? You're purposeful about what you're doing. Even your post, right? Like you have these themes, it's very thematic, right? So you do and I'm probably gonna mess the word up, like
Madawase. Are you trying to say Madawase?
See, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Madawase.
Of course.
So, you know, you do Thankful Mondays, or which day is it? Which day is it?
Madawase Mondays, because Madawase means thank you in Tree.
In what? Say it again.
Tree, which is the Ghanaian dialect. Tree, T-W-I.
Okay, got you.
Say it, Sherwin. Say it.
Tree. Okay, good. Patrice is gonna say.
It's the Guyanese accent. I understand.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, while he's trying to get his tongue from being tied, we're going to play a little snippet from Madawase right here.
There
we go. Here we go.
Of your goodness, oh, and all that you've done for me, even when I'm no good, you've been grace and mercy for me. Every time, no matter what, you rescue me. Every time, no matter what, you still love me. I wish I had enough words to tell you how I feel. No one be like you. No one came and made me new. So I said, it's how I say. It's how I say. It's how I say. It's how I say. You're the air that I breathe, the life I live, yeah, the song where I sing, the beat to my heart, yeah. Without you, where I fallen. Without you, where I fallen. I don't wanna think about a time when you're not crowned. Blessing and honor, praise and honor to you, the only one King. Mercy endureth forever. Oh, that's how I say. That's how I say. That's how I say. That's how I say.
And that was a little snippet from Madawase.
Yeah.
Coming from
I love the way you
from the beautiful Terri
Stay in the
Cann.
trees.
Thank you so much. And I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. That's one of my.
Everybody must go to Ghana.
Oh, I have to go.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to being able to travel internationally once we get over all of this, please. And at this point, you know what? Just get a bag, a bit of the bubble, and I'm getting on the plane because I'm out of here.
Listen.
Get that bubble suit. Get that bubble suit.
Get a hazmat suit. Yeah, we came back
absolutely.
from Ghana about 2 weeks ago. I was like, look, I need to go. I need to go back.
How was that trip?
Too short.
How long did you go for?
Just 6 days.
Oh, that's a turnaround. That's a real turnaround trip. Yeah. I have a question in terms of with American inspirational music lovers, I'll put it that. So I'm going to put gospel, CCM, all of that. Mm-hmm. We're so at times very cloistered off in our own music here. Mm-hmm. There is a global. I mean, there's such a global awareness of gospel and inspirational music, particularly on the motherland and the continent of Africa. And I think a lot of times American artists really don't tap into sharing the gospel there. Yeah. And I'm always thinking that it always has to be some place where, okay, obviously, the mission project can be done all over the world. So I'm not negating that. But there's a culture and a misunderstanding of exactly, there is a whole realm of gospel artists. And you mentioned yourself in terms of interviewing on your show.
Oh, yeah.
Of artists in Africa that don't know and don't have a platform here in the States. Right. And so, having you as the beginning of a bridge to bridge these two continents together and bridge this music together is definitely in line with the mission of Indigo Inspire and Indigo Inspire Live. So nice. To have you here on the show to be that conduit for bringing those two cultures together and saying, hey, there's one God. And we all have been given each the gift of music, but they all sing for the same Lord and Savior who died for our sins. That's it. So how do you understand your responsibility and your role concerning that?
So when I came back from my 5-year music hiatus in 2018, I did a Christmas EP. And I did an Afrobeat version of The Little Drummer Boy, right? Because at that time, Afrobeat had really hit the States. And people were like, oh, what's this beat? It's new, right? It's not new. It's been in Africa forever. But however, in the States, so I was like, well, what can I do after 5 years to come back and be like, hey, remember me? I'm back, and I'm staying. I'm not going to get pregnant again. I'm here. And we're going to do this for real. So the Afrobeat version of The Little Drummer Boy, that's how that came about. And guys, when I went into the studio and that beat came on and I started to sing, the connection that I felt was undeniable. And that was confirmation for me, like, this is where I'm supposed to be at. This is where I'm supposed to be at, because you'll hear a difference from, I've been putting out music since 2011. Okay. And it's all online. You'll listen to it and you'll hear the difference between 2011 music and from 2018 going forward. And when I came back, God was like, I called you to do praise and worship. You need to go home, meaning go back to your roots, go back to your culture, because I grew up in a Caribbean and African church, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the authentic me. All of that stuff, other stuff that Mary, neo soul stuff I was trying to do. Like, God was like, this is cute. It's cute. You're calling my name. But what connection I had to this music and just going back to my culture, I knew that was confirmation for me that this is where I was supposed to be in. And it was hard because, as you said, it's not a familiar lane, right? But it's my lane. Yes. So I definitely had to create a lot. I couldn't fit into other conduits. So I created my own conduit, and I've just been staying there ever since.
Awesome.
Thank you.
See, that's so, and again, I think that's so important, right? For anyone that is starting something, right? Because as Patrice is mentioning, what Indigo Inspire, does as well. And then even when we were starting up with what we're doing too from gospel music buzz, you
Mm-hmm.
can, if you look too much at what others are doing, it's gonna overwhelm you, it's gonna confuse you, you're gonna try to compare yourself, you're gonna try to do
Mhm.
all that. Like, you just gotta understand what you're called to do,
Correct.
how you're called to do it. And that's why I really like, when Patrice is referencing that scripture, right? Like, we were all given something, and we just
Specific
got
for us.
exactly very specific for what
Mhm.
you're doing, because someone else is doing what they're doing and they can do it great, but it's not what you're doing. It's not what
Correct.
you're called to do.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those things, and I think more and more, like, as part of 2020, we saw a lot of newness, right? While there was
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff that was happening, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of give people that opportunity just to stop running after the next thing, stop
Yeah.
trying to be
Mhm.
someone else,
Yeah.
really tap into that quiet voice to say, hey, this is what I think I should be doing, and so forth. And, kind of just moving in that lane and talking
Yeah.
about, doing a newness, the new single, which is the revamp, the remix of the existing single that was there before, Dance. Tell us that backstory, because when I saw the feature, The Truth, I was like, huh, The Truth. So how did that happen? When did that happen? Yes, we're gonna play a little bit of it, but we want to know the scoop. So just lay it on us. How did this collaboration happen?
So, um, when when I finally got on Clubhouse after being had to be convinced to get on Clubhouse, I became addicted, right? So I was in every room listening to every gospel industry, whatever, whatever, whatever. And there was a guy on there that was like, I have a heart to help indie artists. If you need help, reach out to me. So I reached out to him and he became my manager. He listened to my music and he was just like, you are trying to get past these gates, and these gatekeepers have a one track mind. Do you know that you are a gatekeeper? And I was like, what? He was like, no one is doing what you're doing. And he believed so much in my music. He's like, we don't need to create anything new right now. We need to take the old stuff and try to figure out a way to push it out. And he said, you need a collab. And I was like, guys, you guys are really loud. And I said, okay. And he was like, you know what? We should get the truth on this. And I was like, the who? The who? I am Terri. I am not Kirish. I'm not Miley. I am Terri Cann. And I said, why the truth? And Patrice, even as you were talking about like the fusion between the American gospel and what's happening, right before COVID hit, a lot of American gospel singers were going over to Africa, and there was a lot of synergy happening. And I was very excited about that, right? Because a lot of the songs that we sing came from Africa, but they never got credit. Like when people are like, oh my God, I love Alpha and Omega. Israel did his thing with that thing. No, that is a South African song. Jehovah is your name. T.R.U.T.H didn't write that. He got that right. So we saw like Travis Green was going over and Kiara Shear went to South Africa, and I was really happy. So he said to me, The Truth loves everything about Africa, and he's been to Africa quite a few times. And he said he just did a collaboration with Limo Blaze, which is one of the greatest Nigerian gospel artists. And I was like, what? He was like, oh no, this is his thing. I said, well, if you can make the connection. So he made the connection with him. He gave him, at that time, I wanted to push Madawase. Madawase is my favorite song. That's my baby. And that's what we had been pushing. So I was like, well, see if he'll do it. And he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to him Madawase and Dance. And whichever one he chooses, that's what we'll go with. So I said, Jesus, let him choose Madawase, but he chose Dance. So that's the long story short. He said he loved Dance, and that's how the collab happened. He made everything, and The Truth is amazing. He was such a pleasure to work with. He's so amazing. Yeah.
And right here on Indigo Inspired Live, we will get a snippet of Dance, the remix from Terri Cann, featuring Stellar Award winner, Christian inspirational rapper. I mean, all around good guy. I call him Manny. You call him the truth.
Are you done?
Here we go. The remix. Dance the remix. Oh, hold on.
Eden is literally stomping.
Here we go.
Stomping on Ezra.
Yeah. Terri Cann. Wake up in the morning, I can feel the rhythm. What is this thing over me? I can't contain it, you see. Hands up to the ceiling, promises fulfilling. My dry days are over, this is my season. I lift my head, I lift my hands and I'll heal. I go down, I go do my dance and I praise. Move my feet, I go move my feet to the beat. I know good things are coming, no. So in the meantime, I go dance. I know good things are coming, no. So in the meantime, I go dance. Jump around the street now. Never thought it was my turn now. Getting stronger while I wait. Alua is putting things in his place. See, I'll be more than weird now. More than conquer. He's ordering all my steps. Give me the space for my 1-2 steps. Lift my hands, I lift my hands and I'll heal. I go down, I go do my dance and I praise. Move my feet, I go move my feet to the beat. I know good things are coming, no. So in the meantime, I go dance. I know good things are coming, no. So in the meantime, I go dance. Yeah. Till it goes viral. Play this song, go viral. Take it back, dance like David. Yeah. Otherwise, dance like Michael. Jack goes off my feet now. Yeah. Saints go dance in the silos. Yeah. Faith go stand. I'm awake. I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna pray for revival. Pray for revival. Revival. Yeah. Me king no got no rival. Came with a plan on work mode. Raise my hand on the Bible. Yeah. Lift my feet on the dirt road. Yeah. I'm gonna leave on a high note. Yeah. Shaku buara. Hyra.
Oh, hot.
Yes. Someone's like, I'm dancing. Terri Club.
Shout out to Sherry. It's my sorority sister. Shout out to Sherry.
lot of fire emojis there. Yeah, I mean the collab, the visuals, because we were getting snippet. We were seeing, Terri's like on a plane. She's like, I'm going to an undisclosed location.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be doing, I can't tell you guys. So like everyone was in
What's happening?
She's like doing little snippets. So we were all such zoned in. And then while everyone is waiting and talking about the single, and we were midstream on the live, then Terri go, oh, by the way, the video is out. So
Go see it. Let's go drop it. Let's go. Right now.
She just dropped the video midstream, and it's it's just it was awesome. It was amazing. So,
Thank you.
Now, was that done by 22 Visions, correct?
22 Visions. That is my management team, who also has a production company. So we flew out to Atlanta. The Truth is now in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So everybody flew out there and made it happen, man.
Nice. It is fire. It is fire. It is fire. And you can find that on her YouTube channel as well. And we'll make sure we share it on our platforms. I know he has. And I think I'll make sure it's up here on the Indigo Inspire Live Facebook page.
Thank you.
As well for you. So Terri, as we are about to come to the end, because I know you have, you family, you had to take care of everybody.
Y'all hear my kids screaming like they off their mind?
It's okay. Hey, it's life.
Okay,
it's real life.
Everyone else is doing.
But they're quiet when I'm not on a live, though. What is that?
They're not on an interview.
Explain that to me.
Everyone else is doing.
It is all good. So, what is up next for you, other than this? Because we have this album that does not have a release date yet. So,
the Diary of a Psalmist, yes.
Mm-hmm. The Diary of a Psalmist. All I want to say is 2022.
Okay.
For this album, I don't want to put a specific date on it because I tend to get crazy with deadlines. Like it gives me anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, it's not done. And I want this album to be so powerful. So I'm literally taking my time with every single song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to sound too deep, but I'm like really praying through every song. Even like vocally, I want it to be the best I've ever done. So I'm in there with like a vocal producer, singing things through. We listen to it for a few days, come back and change it. I mean, this is the first time I'm really taking my time with an album. We have 8 songs complete right now. We're aiming for 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to it because this is going to be praise and worship. Still Afro praise, but Afro praise and worship. And I'm really excited for people to see the psalmist Terri Cann, not just, oh, we want to dance Afrobeat, kind of thing. So
I love how she says that. Go ahead, Patrice.
Because those are the comments I hear. Oh, you want to dance? Oh, you need to Terri Cann. Just look. I'm like, okay, but I love Jesus. I love to worship too.
Listen, you're multifaceted. You're not going to take away all my gifts.
Amen. Amen.
Okay. Are you opposed to? Will you be willing to like at least let one song go as a single and sort of a pre-order for the album to get for everybody kind of get their feet wet with the new project?
I can't tell you what I'm gonna do, Patrice. I can't tell you what I'm gonna do, but that is the plan.
I tried. You see how I did that? I tried. She gave us no team. She gave us no team.
I love it.
That's the way it's supposed to.
I love it.
Did you see? I tried. I tried.
And you succeeded.
Okay. And in flames.
There will definitely be something released before the album, so you'll get a taste of this is the direction that we're going in.
Okay. Yeah. Great, Shirley.
No, I was gonna say before. I know we're at the top of the hour. You have the album. You have the album. We're gonna see that from 2022. You're gonna have some other stuff in between there. Before you go ahead and drop your socials so everyone can kind of follow and go through. Drop if anyone wants to give to the project, to the completion, because it's one thing I always encourage is that as an independent artist and working with independent artists, there's always a need, right?
Always.
Stuff is self-funded. A lot of stuff is happening, especially since everyone weren't going to churches, 2020, whatever little bit you might have had in that reserve, that's it. So kind of, drop your socials, drop how someone wants to bless you with something, what they can do, just go ahead and just lay it all out there.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that, Sherwin. So I always say, as long as you can spell my name, you can find me. So my name is Terri Cann, TerriCann. On Facebook, it's Terri Cann Music. On IG, it's Terri Cann Music. On Twitter, it's Terri Cann. Clubhouse, it's Terri Cann. My website is terricannmusic.com. So again, you can just type Terri Cann into Google. Everything will pop up. I would love to connect with you. I do answer my appropriate DMs. I do answer the appropriate ones. So feel free to reach out.
And I know exactly what she's talking about. So it's all good. It's okay.
All right. My husband will kill you. Okay.
So everyone, we want to thank Terri Cann for being with us tonight and allowing us to share just a little bit of her evening with us. And it has been such an honor to have you here on the show. And you got to let us know when that project is going to drop. So we'd love to have you back to go ahead and just really feature some of the songs off that new worship album. It's going to be amazing. It really is going to be amazing.
Indeed.
The honor and the pleasure has been mine. Thank you guys, Patrice and Sherwin, for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you. Y'all go follow her, Patrice. Over to you.
All right. So everyone, once again, thank you so much for being here on Indigo Inspired Live, here with the collab with the one and only Sherwin Williams from Gospel Music Buzz. Follow him on all his social media. I'm going to put that up here in the banner real quickly. Make sure you follow him, as well as don't forget, follow Indigo Inspired Live on all of our social media as well. And don't forget Terri Cann, where you can spell Terri, TerriCann, and Terri Cann Music. You'll find her on all her social media as well. So this is what we do. This platform is to really celebrate the independent artists and to really share the goodness of God through this platform. So to everyone, we want to say a wonderful good night. We've got some amazing artists coming up next week. Oh, I don't want to make sure I let you know who we have next week, because you have to know who's coming up next week. And we have next Thursday, look who's in the building. Angela Moss Poole will be with us next week at 8 p.m. Talking about her new song with a collaboration she did with Michael Stampley. So you want to be here for that. And September is going to be fire. Let me just go ahead and do this. September is going to be crazy. We are on fire, and this is just a drop in the bucket. I promise you, I can't even put any more up here right now because it's just too much. But this is what we're doing for the collab, and we're excited for it. So to everyone, have a wonderful, blessed night. And as always, it's not just a vibe here, baby. It's a whole mood. Have a great night. God bless you.
There it is. All right, have a good one, y'all.